civilians inside Ukraine and putting maximum pressure, not just on Iran, but maximum pressure on the Russians.
Thank you. I'm over time. I yield back.
The ranking member has agreed that we will have a second round. So I recognize myself for 5 minutes, and I'll start out. I've got a potpourri of questions here. But Dr. Gardner, you responded to that last, and I thought you wanted to give a response to one of those last questions. If you'll take a few seconds.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I would like to respond to the remarks made by Representative McBride, because I think the comments there were absolutely ridiculous, and the attack on the United States as a nation supposedly backsliding on democracy bears no relation whatsoever to reality. I'm proud to live in the freest nation on earth, and the United States fights every day for freedom and democracy across the world. And I find it absolutely astonishing that a member of Congress would compare the United States to Putin's Russia. And the United States is today the beacon of democracy and freedom in the world. And we see that on a daily basis. And I just want to mention on the record that I find it absolutely appalling that a member of Congress makes astonishing attacks on the United States full of lies that carries no relation whatsoever to reality. American leadership is incredibly powerful on the world stage right now. And the United States is leading the NATO alliance based upon the principles of freedom and democracy and individual liberty. And we're seeing that. And we should be proud of that record instead of trying to tear America down as the left does all the time. We should be proud of everything this great nation stands for. And that includes at its very heart the freedom and liberty that are the foundations of this great nation. Thank you.
Thank you. And to get back to some of the details, I'd like your opinion, Dr. Gardner, of the arrest warrant for Dodik and the potential impact on the Western Balkans and their refusal to carry through with that arrest warrant.
Yeah, actually, on that particular issue, I'm going to defer to my colleague, Ms. Montgomery, who I think has a more detailed understanding of that particular issue. Thank you.
I do think it's a thank you. Now, I will tell you, I'm not optimistic that the arrest warrant will be executed. I am confident that Dodik is a criminal and should be held accountable. And I'm afraid, I think I share your kind of implied concern in previous questions that the Balkans are a tinderbox, and that our inability to hold Vučić and Dodik accountable is eventually going to lead to an inflammation and a deeper requirement for European and potentially even United States to get involved. So I wish it would be executed properly. I suspect it won't, sir.
Okay, very good. Now, we had a very short conversation about the Suwałki Gap. That is, in my mind, the second most important issue facing NATO. So would you give us a tutorial on the Suwałki Gap and the Kaliningrad enclave and what that enclave represents to Russia?
Well, as a retired Army officer, I'm not surprised you bring that up, but I agree with you completely. The Suwałki Gap is a narrow throat that Russia would like to grab in order to bring itself with a greater Russia, with Belarus, in contact with the Kaliningrad Oblast, which is the most heavily fortified geographic position in the world. Despite the war in Ukraine, the Russians have not backed off one iota from packing weapon systems into there that hold Poland and the Baltic states at risk. The ability to close that, I think, 60-kilometer gap would be very rapid in war. But I believe the Russians can do that, and certainly with what they've learned in Ukraine, they will be able to do that. So I share your concern about the Suwałki Gap. This is one of those issues where Europe and NATO need to be thinking very hard about how you persistently deter Russia from being able to do that. I do not think you can get the weapon systems there 5, 6, 7 days after the fact. It will be lost by then. And the Baltic states and Poland share your concern.
And my last point in my last 30 seconds is FMS reform. We have a great need to reform FMS, and I'll just make that point on the record. We have still billions of dollars behind in weapon systems that Taiwan has already paid for. Saudi Arabia stands in front of Taiwan for the Harpoon missiles, having paid for the restart. So it's something we cannot take our eye off the ball. Ambassador, you mentioned the defense industrial base. FMS reform, I think, is vital for the future of everything that we've been talking about. With that, I yield my time, and I recognize Mr. Keating.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a